Sunday School, Class 7, Lesson 13. The name of the chapter is Israel's Journey Through Wilderness and Inheriting of the Promised Land. So, Israel's journey through wilderness or Israel's journey through the desert, we are going to see as part 1 of this chapter. Then, after they finish the journey and they reach near the promised land, the inheriting of the promised land or the capturing of the promised land we'll see as part 2 of this chapter. Okay, so Israel's journey through wilderness, part 1. In the previous chapter, we already learned how God had chosen Moses. Then Moses came to Egypt and he talked to Pharaoh, but Pharaoh did not allow Moses to take his people. So there was 10 plagues that God brought on the people of Egypt. So after the 10th plague, that is killing of the firstborn, and that also symbolizes the Passover festival, as I already explained in the last chapter, when the angel passed over the house of the Israelites and went into the house of the Egyptians and killed the firstborn. That is how it symbolizes the Passover festival. Okay, so when is this Passover celebrated? It is celebrated on the 14th day of the first month. The name of the first month is Abib. Abib. So the 14th day of the first month is when they started their journey from Egypt to go to the promised land which God had made for them. Okay, so that is the beginning of the journey. Now, leadership. Who was their leader? Obviously, God was the one who was leading them, but God had appointed some human leaders for them. So who were they? That was Moses and Joshua. So Moses was the person who was there first. After the death of Moses, we can see Joshua taking the place of Moses. Okay, so Moses was the leader at first. There were around 6 lakh male. Okay, so we are not including women or children in this. 6 lakh only male were there. So just imagine the population, it was so huge. 6 lakh male, around 20 to 30 lakhs in total. Now including the women and children and old people and young people, including everybody, around 20 to 30 lakh people were there in total. So Moses was in charge of this huge group of people to take them from Egypt to the promised land. Okay, and who was given as assistant to Moses? God had given Aaron. Yes, so God had given Aaron as an assistant to Moses. Okay, fine. So Aaron and Moses, under their leadership, 20 to 30 lakh people in total were where they started their journey from Egypt to the promised land. Okay, so now after they started their journey, Pharaoh's mind changed again. So you remember, after the first plague, Pharaoh told Moses to take the people, but as soon as the first plague was recovered, as in it was all gone, what did Pharaoh say? Pharaoh said, no, now you cannot take the people. You remember, right? So in during the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, all these plagues, Pharaoh first allowed the people to go, but then after everything was okay, everything was fine, back to place, then he said, no, now I'm not going to send the people. So again, after the 10th plague, when he told Moses to take the people and go, after some time, when they had buried all their firstborn and when they had finished crying, Pharaoh's mind changed again. So now Pharaoh took all his soldiers, all his armies, all the animals, all the horses and the camels and everybody, and he set out for a war against Moses and the people of Israel. Okay, so just imagine a picture in your mind. Moses and the whole Israelite people, around 20 to 30 lakh people, are walking, and after some distance, you can imagine a little distance, after that distance, Pharaoh and his army are coming behind Moses and the people of Israel. Okay, now you have to make a picture in your mind. Moses and the people of Israelite have reached a dead end point. Okay, now what is this dead end? Moses is standing in one side, and in front of Moses, what is in front of Moses? It's a Red Sea. Okay, so Red Sea, which is a huge sea that is in front of Moses and the people of Israel. What is it? What is there on the right and left of Moses? It's a big mountain. Okay, big mountain. And what is there behind Moses? It is Pharaoh and the big army. So you can imagine you are standing in middle, in front of you is a big sea. You cannot cross the sea and go with so many people together. On the right and left of you is the huge mountain, which again you cannot climb with so many people. And on behind you, you can see Pharaoh and the big army which is coming to destroy you. What can you do? There is no help. All four sides you are completely captured. You are helpless. There is nothing that you can do. So what did Moses do? Moses prayed to God. And do you think God helped him? Yes, absolutely. It was God who sent him to Egypt to bring the people. So God was there with the people of Israel and with Moses. So God saved Moses and the people of Israel. And how did God do that? Yes, God, what did he do? Moses, the stick that Moses had in his hand, which we already discussed in the last chapter, the stick which he had put down and it became a snake. Then Moses took the stick again in his hand and it became a snake again in his hand and it became a stick. Yes, that same stick Moses had with him. So God told Moses to show that stick right in front of him where the Red Sea is there. So when Moses pointed that stick towards the Red Sea, what happened? That was a great miracle. The sea parted into two. Can you imagine? There was one big huge sea and it parted. It made way. So one side of the sea went to the right, one side of the sea went to the left, and there was a way that was made in the middle of the sea. So Moses and the people of Israel walked through the sea and went to the other side of the sea. Okay, so on the, you can imagine, probably they are walking, and on the right side there is water that is standing, on the left side there is water that is standing, and they are walking on the middle part, which is completely dry. So God made it completely dry, and the sea had parted into two. It made two parts, and they were walking in the middle of the sea. So all of them, Moses and all the people of Israel, every one of them, 20 to 30 lakh of people, every one of them walked through that dry way and they reached the other side of the sea. Okay, as soon as they reached the other side of the sea, what happened? Pharaoh's army also was there behind. So they also thought, oh wow, the water has parted. So they also tried to come and attack Moses. So they also walked through that path which God had created. But did God help them? No, absolutely not. So when the whole army was in the middle of that way, what happened? The sea came back to its original place. So the whole army of Egypt was washed away in that water. That's how God protected Moses and the people of Israel, and that symbolizes the journey which Moses and the people took through the Red Sea. That is, through the water they were saved. Moses and the people of Israel walked through the water. On the right and left there is completely water, and they walked through the Red Sea and they reached the other side. So that whole process symbolizes baptism. So as they were saved through baptism, we are also saved through baptism. So this is one of the picture. You can see Moses and you can see the people of Israel and you can see the Red Sea. It is actually standing on the command that Moses gave. Who did this? It is God who did this. And they are walking through that dry land, and they are crossing the Red Sea and moving to the other side of the sea. Now we are going to see the places where the Israelites encamped. Okay, so they have left Egypt, then they crossed the Red Sea. Now they're standing on the other side of the Red Sea, and they are supposed to have a journey. They're supposed to walk through a journey to reach the promised land. So how many days will they take to reach the promised land? They will take 40 days. Okay, so the journey from Egypt to reach the promised land is of 40 days. Now let's see, are they able to complete this journey in 40 days? So throughout this 40 days, they have reached different places, and they rested in different places for some time. Those places we are going to see now. In the book of Numbers, chapter 33, we can see the names of the places. Okay, so place number 1, we are going to learn about Mara. Okay, so after traveling through the wilderness of Shur, Israelites reached Mara. So over there, the water was bitter. So it tasted very bitter. So they were not able to drink the water over there. And what did they do? They started to murmur against God. Murmur meaning they started to talk against God. They started to say, oh, in Egypt we had such good facilities. We had water to drink whenever we wanted to drink, but over here the water is so bitter, so we cannot drink the water, and we are so thirsty. So like this, they started to murmur against God. Now what did God do? God commanded Moses to put a log in the water, a piece of wood, a log in the water, and after that he told the people to drink the water. So as soon as Moses put the log in the water, what happened? The water became sweet, and the people were able to drink the water. Next we can see the place of Elim. Okay, Elim had 12 springs of water and 12 palm leaves. So the people were very happy because there was so much of water and so much plenty to eat. Okay, so this symbolizes that happiness always follows after sorrowfulness. So you have a sorrowful event in your life, do not worry, there is happiness that is in store for you. Next, we are going to see about the wilderness of Zin. So, Israelites reached Zin after 1 month of travel from Egypt. The giving of manna. So, you might have seen that the Israelites people, what did they get as food? God gave them something that is known as manna. Okay, it's a heavenly food. That giving of manna started from the wilderness of Zin. Okay, so remember this, the giving of manna started from Zin. Manna is a Hebrew word, and what does it mean? It actually means, what is it? Okay, so when the people of Israel, when they were hungry and then they asked God to give them something to eat, God gave them manna. So it came from heaven to them. So when they came out of their camp to see what is it that they have to eat, they saw manna and they did not understand, because before that they have never seen something like this. So when they took that in their hand, they started to say, what is it? What is it? So what is it? That is, they told in Hebrew, so they were telling manna, manna, and the name eventually became manna. Understood? So manna is a Hebrew word for what is it. They were actually asking, what is this thing? We have never seen this thing. It's a very new thing. So they were asking, what is it? What is it? So they were asking that in Hebrew. So in Hebrew, how do we say what is it? We say manna. So they were saying manna, manna, and the name of that thing eventually became manna. Okay, so manna is like a coriander seed. I have not seen, you have not seen, we all have not seen what it is, how it looks. It is a heavenly food. So it is said that it looks like a coriander seed. Okay, so Israelites used to gather it and make cake out of it. So each one had to collect 2 measures of manna. Okay, you can only collect 2 measures. If you collect more than that, or if you collect more than what is needed, then it will rot, it will become bad. So you can collect only what is needed, that is 2 measures of manna for each family. And manna is a symbol of Christ, the living bread from heaven. Okay, so many symbols we saw in this chapter. One, we saw the symbol of Passover, when angel passed over the house of Israelite, that is celebrated as Passover. Then we saw another symbol of baptism. Yes, when they went through the water, that symbolizes baptism. Now we are going to see manna. Manna symbolizes Christ, the living bread from heaven. Okay, so that is what happened in the wilderness of Zin. Now the fourth place, that is Rephidim. Okay, it is a plain area located at the east of Mount Sinai. Here Moses was told to hit a rock to let water flow from that rock for people to drink. Okay, so there was a big rock and God commanded Moses to hit the rock so that water will come out of the rock, so that people will be able to drink. So Moses hit the rock and water came out of that rock. Now here is another symbol, symbol number 4, that we are going to see. The beaten rock is a symbol of Christ who suffered on the cross. So Christ was on the cross and he was beaten, and that's how we got new life. Same way as the rock was beaten and water came from that so that people could drink it. So the beaten rock symbolizes Christ who suffered on the cross. Also here Israelites had a fight against the Amalekites. Okay, so in this fight we can see God's hand upon the people of Israel. So God commanded Moses to raise his 2 hands, okay, his right hand and his left hand. God told Moses to raise both the hands. So as long as the hands was raised, when Moses' hands was raised, Israelites were winning the war. But as soon as Moses was tired and as soon as he thought of putting the hand down, Israelites were starting to lose. Okay, so that's how it was going on. Then Aaron and Hur, okay, who were the 2 people? Aaron and Hur, H-U-R, Hur, and A-A-R-O-N, Aaron. So Aaron and Hur helped Moses to keep his hand up. So Aaron held one hand, Hur held the other hand. So with the help of both of them, Moses was able to keep his hand, both his hands up, raised up high, and because of that Israelites won the war. Okay, so that is through God's help. Now we can see the next place, that is Sinai, also known as Horeb. So it's triangular in shape. It lies between the Red Sea, Suez and Aqaba. Okay, so they reached Sinai after 1.5 months of Passover. So they cleaned themselves, and how many days did they take to clean themselves? They took 3 days to clean themselves. So after cleaning themselves, Jehovah appeared to them on Mount Sinai on the 50th day. Okay, so 50th day is celebrated as the day of Pentecost. You remember in Acts, when we read in the book of Acts, Holy Spirit came on the people on the 50th day. Okay, after the Passover, when you start counting, 50th day, 50th day is celebrated as the day of Pentecost, when Holy Spirit came upon the people. So same thing over here, on the 50th day, that is the day of Pentecost, Jehovah appeared to them on Mount Sinai. Okay, so Moses was with God on the mountain for 40 days. Moses told the people that he is going up on the mount to talk to God. So Moses went up, and for how many days was he there? He was there for 40 days. And what happened over there? There God gave Moses the 10 commandments. that we read in Exodus chapter 20, the 10 commandments God gave to Moses during these 40 days. And all the people were down. They did not go up on the mountain, they were all down waiting for Moses to come. So God appeared to Moses on the top of the mountain and God gave him the 10 commandments. God wrote the commandments with his own hands. Okay, so with his own hands on 2 stone tablets, God wrote the commandments and gave it to Moses, the 10 commandments. So Moses took the commandments and he came down of the mountain to talk to the people. But meanwhile, when Moses was up there in the mountain, what was happening down? Down, people thought that Moses is never going to come back because it was so many days and there was no news of Moses. So what happened? That 40 days, Satan tempted the people, and with the help of Aaron, the people made an idol of calf with molten gold. So all the gold that they had with them, all the gold that they had on their body, they took it, they melted that gold and they made it in the shape of a calf. Okay, a cow's baby, calf. So calf, they made it as an idol of a calf and they started to worship the calf. God and Moses both were displeased. They both did not like what happened or what the people had done. So 3,000, as soon as Moses came down, 3,000 people who worshipped the calf that day, they died. The people of Israel lived at the bottom valley of Sinai for a year. God had to prepare them as a different nation. Due to their bondage in Egypt, they were not united people. They did not possess the nation of nationhood and they were not worshippers of God. As a solution to all these problems, they were given laws, that is the 10 commandments at Sinai, and tabernacle was established with various tools according to God's plan. Okay, so they lived at Mount Sinai for 1 year and God trained them over there and gave them the 10 commandments. So as I already told, Moses went up on the mountain and God wrote the 10 commandments with his own hands. But that commandment, when Moses came down and when he saw that the people were worshipping the idol, he was so angry that in that anger he threw those 10 commandments. He threw those 10 commandments down and the commandments broke. So Moses had to go up again on the mount to talk to God. But this time God did not write the 10 commandments. Moses wrote with his own hand the 10 commandments and then he came down and he gave the 10 commandments to the people. Okay. Next we are going to see Kadesh Barnea. The people of Israel reached the south of Canaan. So the people had already reached the south of the promised land. So they were very, very near to the promised land which God had promised to them. 12 people, including Joshua and Caleb, were sent to spy the land. Now, what do you mean by spy? Spy is something like a secret agent. Okay, a secret agent who goes into the land to see how the land is, if the people are strong or weak, or if the borders are strong, or will they be able to capture the land. So like that, secret agents, they were made as secret agents to spy the land of Canaan. 10 people came with negative report. So they told Moses, "Oh Moses, it is very difficult for us to capture the land. The people are so strong, they are like giants, and we are so weak and so small in front of them. We will not be able to defeat them." But 2 people, who are those 2 people? Joshua and Caleb. These 2 people came with positive report and they said, if God is with us, we will be able to win the war. So those people who rebelled against God, those people who did not trust the power of God, those people who did not think that God can help them, they were punished by God, and because of their negative comments, God made them to wander in the desert for 40 years. So the journey, which could be covered within 40 days, now it took them 40 years to enter the promised land. So the people who started the journey from Egypt to the promised land, only two people from that crowd could enter the promised land. Who are those two peoples? Who are those two people? Joshua and Caleb. Only these two people were allowed to enter the promised land. Rest all of them died in the desert, and only their children could enter the promised land. Those people could not, but their children, their children's children, they could enter the promised land. Okay. Next, we are going to learn about Moab. So after wandering in the desert for 40 years, their numbers decreased very gradually. The number started to decrease. So as I already said, all perished except for Joshua and Caleb. Even Moses was denied entering the promised land because of his disobedience. So when God told Moses something, God told Moses to command the rock so that water can come out of the rock. This is another place, not that we already discussed. We had already discussed about this in at Rephidim, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a different place where again water was not there. So God commanded Moses not to hit the rock this time. Last time God had told him to hit the rock at Rephidim, but here God told him not to hit the rock. God told him only to command to the rock. But because of the anger that Moses was in, because the people were murmuring, in that anger he hit the rock. Okay, so water came out of the rock, but God did not like it because Moses was disobedient to God. So God did not allow Moses to enter the promised land. So you and I, we should remember that how careful we are supposed to be. Moses, who was chosen by God and who was so much loved by God from his birth, who was so much loved by God, and God gave him so many signs and miracles, and God made him the leader and so many things. If God can punish him for disobedience, how much fearful should you and I live a life? We should be obedient to God. We should be listening to everything that God commands us to do. Yes, we should be more obedient than ever now. So he saw the land from a distance. So God took him to Mount Pisgah of Nebo, and God told him to see the land from there. So from that mountain, Mount Pisgah, God made Moses to see the whole of Canaan. So from that mountain, Moses viewed the promised land, and then he died on the mountain itself when he was at the age of 120. So no one was there on the mountain, only God and Moses were there in the mountain. So no one knows how did he die, or where was he buried, or all those things are a mystery. It is not written in the Bible. We just know at the age of 120 Moses was on the mountain, and then he was missing. So probably he died there and God buried Moses. Okay, so he went on Mount Pisgah of Nebo and died at the age of 120. Then after Moses, who was the next leader that was chosen by God, Joshua was the chosen leader, that is next leader after Moses. Okay, so this is your part 1 of the chapter. Part 2 will do in the next lesson. Thank you. God bless you all.